You're listening to Superpowers of the Soul on the Superpower Up Podcast, the show that elevates superpowers to the divine.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Jennifer Rizzio, superpower expert and the founder of Soul Language. And this is Superpowers of the Soul. And today I'm with Candice Harper, and we're going to be talking about getting over a breakup. Welcome, Candice. I'm so excited about this subject.
Thank you, Jennifer. I'm really excited too. This is like right in my wheelhouse, right up my alley.
I'm excited because I don't have to get over a breakup.
Right?
But we've all been there. And, I always love to start my conversations with my guests, with a couple, standard questions. So the first question I really want to know is, what do you consider the superpower of your soul?
The superpower of my soul, I would say it's standing for what is possible, like just being unstoppable. And standing for what's possible for others, what's possible for myself, just, being a stand for it. And yeah, it takes a lot for me to give up.
I love that. I'm all warrior energy too, so I get that.
Yeah.
We, in the soul language community, we talk about sacred purpose, as a way of being here that really is first for yourself and then for others. And I think, all this kind of stuff around mission and purpose really confuses people. And I think, you're being your mission, you're being your sacred purpose here, even if you never interact with another soul. But what do you consider your sacred purpose?
Well, I love that you said that, because the thing about purpose that I think for a lot of people is that, we have this thing where it's like this pressure to find it, or that it's somewhere outside of us. And I do believe that there is the purpose that is outside of us, that if we don't, like you said, if we don't interact with another soul, we still fulfill our purpose. There's that. And then there's also the purpose we choose. Purpose I chose for myself is to teach and inspire radical self-acceptance so that I can create healthy relationships. Others can create healthy relationships. And, that's what I chose as, what I want to align with in life. Now, I might have other purposes too. Organ donation, who knows? Those are my grand universal purposes. But that's ultimately, what I feel like I'm here for and what I align myself with.
Well, I think it was so great that you included yourself in that service. The first thing was so you could have healthy relationships, right? I think so often, especially for master healers, when I ask that purpose question, they're like, oh, so my purpose here is to help, blah, blah. And I'm like, I shake my head, like, my eyes twitch. I'm like, no, it's not, yes, we are master of services. Well, I'm a master of service, and that comes from fingerprint analysis. But, we're so wanting to be of service here that we often forget that we're part of the service agreement. And I think that can create codependence with our purpose. And, and that creates codependence in every area of our life. And we'll talk about that more when we're done with the break and when we get to the meat and the relationship part of our conversation.
Okay, totally.
But how, I love that, deep sense of acceptance. So how does your soul support others with that deep, profound acceptance? What does that look in your everyday life and in your work life?
Yeah. Well, I'm a love coach by profession. And a lot of times when you say that to people, they think that means like, pickup lines and dating and stuff like that. But what it really is, in the way that I express it, it's, how do I learn practices and, just daily actions that support my loving myself, accepting myself, not blowing smoke up my own butt or, telling myself a story, just love and acceptance, admire my own strengths and accept my own weaknesses. And so that I can mirror that in other people, right? When I bring other people into my life. So that's how I express it for myself. I have my own daily practices, and I teach other people how to have a system of daily practices that support that kind of life.
I love that. And that's really key. I think that, we're so fast moving that people don't fully grasp that daily practices build on each other. They keep you being focused and centered. And it's a way of creating huge transformation on an ongoing basis. So, what has been a common theme that your soul has shared with you throughout your journey?
Surrender. Everything is working in your favor. Surrender. You don't have to control every little thing. Just take inspired action. Surrender. That has been my common theme, my mantra. My soul says it to me all the time.
I love that. Yeah. You know, being like a warrior, we don't do very good with the word surrender.
Yes.
Right? But surrender for me means acceptance, right?
Yeah.
And I think
absolutely.
so many of us spend a lot of time in non-acceptance. Yeah. They spend time, you know, wanting to be in Paris, but they're really in London, and they're insisting that they're in Paris, right?
Totally.
And it's really hard to actually be in the flow and to listen fully, completely to your soul when you're kind of playing tug and war with everything around you. So I love what your soul has shared with you. My last question before the break here is, what has been a big theme around your humanness?
A big theme around my humanness. I would say leadership. Yeah, like I would say, you know, be somebody, for me, part of humanity is being somebody who, you know, like I said earlier, stands for others and, you know, wants to inspire and set an example in some way. Not meaning that you know, there was a time where I sort of held myself to a very high standard and it was perfectionism. But I sort of healed that in a way that I began to understand leadership.
Love
so
that.
Yeah.
So before we do break here, tell people how to get in touch with you, where they can find out more about you and your love practices.
Which is CandiceHarperLoveCoach.com, and Candice with an I, like Candice Bergen, but CandiceHarperLoveCoach.com. And also on Facebook, I have a business page, Candice Harper Love Coach. And you can also find my timeline if you just type in Candice Harper, and Instagram at Candy Love Coach.
Love it. All right, everyone, I want you to stay tuned with me. This is Jennifer Rizzio and Candice Harper, and we're going to be talking after the break about getting over a breakup.
Are you here to change the world? Do you talk about things like vibration, frequency, awakening, and consciousness? Are you pretty sure you have superpowers? The Superpower Net is unlike normal coaching programs and conscious communities. We provide training, intuitive guidance, peer-to-peer learning, intensive one-on-one coaching, and a high vibrational network of people just like you. When you join the net, you get 24/7 access to a collaborative group of people who support you as you master your personal power and unlock your superpowers. If you're ready to use your superpowers to change the world, then join the Superpower Net today. Visit superpowerexperts.com/thenet to learn more.
Well, welcome back. This is Superpowers of the Soul, and my name is Jennifer Rizzio, and I'm with Candice Harper, and we're talking about getting over a breakup. So I think, you know, in my past experiences with breakup, where my heart really felt like it was breaking, right? Yeah. You know, I think there's this desire to rush the process and just move over and it to be done and the suffering to stop.
Yeah.
What is your suggestion? Because it's not going to, it doesn't happen like that.
It just doesn't happen like that.
So what are your suggestions about being present with the pain and suffering of heartbreak?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, because, you know, breakups, they come along in a lot of different ways, right? Sometimes even when we're the ones doing the breaking up, it can be really, really hard. And sometimes they're unexpected. You know, there's just so many possibilities for how that heartbreak can happen. And, you know, for me, I realized in my own life lessons, my own study, and one thing that's really, really important, and you kind of touched on it, is that being present. One thing that we aren't often allowed to do in our culture and the way that our society is set up is to be present in our pain and to be allowing of our pain. And that sounds counterintuitive to a lot of people because we're taught to resist it, medicate it, feed it, you know, do whatever we can to fix it. But it's really about, and this is not to say, you know, if you have to eat a whole pizza, but this is to say, the acceptance of it and the allowing of the process of it and the scariest part, which is the feeling of it, is part of what heals it.
Agreed. And I think so often people ignore that because they think it's going to be like a forest fire where if they feel it, they're never going to be able to get, you know, away from it, right? Yeah. But if you don't feel it, if you're not present with it, it goes from pain to suffering, which leaks out in everything you do. And, several years ago, oh my God, it's a very long time ago, when I was putting together the soul language book, there was a moment where the publisher was like, I don't think I can publish it, because she was going through something. And my heart broke. And, my mom and my boyfriend at the time was like, get out of bed. What are you doing? What? And I'm like, they just couldn't allow me to like, just be with it. I mean, I was working on editing it for a year of my life. Right. And so I think it's really important, especially to, offer, ask for support and people allowing you to feel what you feel, not to wallow in it, but to be present with it.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Now, here's the thing about that. We can always make a request of our loved ones and the people around us. We can't be attached to whether they will know how to fulfill the request, right? Because a lot of times when they want to fix it for us, it's because it's not only the empathy they feel, it's also their own pain that comes up around it. And we never want to see each other hurt. But I have this really great mentor, and she always says, mop them, don't stop them when it comes to tears. And so, right, I love that phrase, because, what it's really about is, just being able to let ourselves do it, even if no one else knows how to let us do it.
Love that. Okay, so we've felt our pain, we've eaten our pizza. What's another, I read some stat once that, the amount of time that you spend in a relationship, it takes that half of that to kind of get over it, in quotes. What's kind of a next tip that you can offer us to kind of get us over, in quotes, the breakup?
Yeah. Well, what I would say is not worry too much about any hard and fast rules about how long it's supposed to take. Just be willing to check in with yourself about, what was true for you. Once you get to a point where, and you will, if you allow yourself to feel the pain, you will get to a point where you start to get cognizant of what the relationship really was like. And when the truths start to come, then, because that's our intuition, that's our gut starting to talk, like, what was it really about that relationship? And that doesn't mean go back and wallow in it again, but what is it that I'm still feeling attached to? What did I feel like it was fulfilling? It's just a willingness to ask ourselves the questions, and rather than use the answers as excuses to still be sad, use the answers as opportunities for growth. Like, what can I learn from how this went? How was I showing up? How was that other person showing up? Why do I feel like it didn't work for me if I'm the one who broke up with them? Or, why do I feel like this situation broke down? What am I responsible for? These questions come naturally. It sounds like I'm reading them from someplace, but your own self will ask you these things. It's just usually what we do is kind of suppress it.
Yeah.
So we can keep feeling the pain. Be willing to listen to yourself, because you will start to want to explore.
Yeah, and I think that's really important, because this is an area of self-discovery, right? And so this is your opportunity to to know yourself better, to feel more connected, to embrace more of your worthiness, to determine, I always say, okay, let's do the energetic lineup of your past 3 relationships, break them down, and energetically, what do they all have in common, right?
Yep.
Like, and really start to kind of dive deeper in what your role is, what that person's role is, what role you gave them, and really to determine really truly what you want to put into a relationship field and what you want out of that relationship field. I think the biggest disservice that was ever done to relationships was Jerry Maguire, and you completely
right.
Really?
So true.
Right? Like, what?
Right.
And I think it's really important to kind of understand, why you want a relationship, and what do you think a relationship is or supposed to be.
Absolutely. And I love that you said that, because I always say that we are conditioned to believe that that partnership is that our purpose is to partner. Our purpose is to get in a relationship, when in fact, our purpose is our purpose, and partnership and relationships are there to support our purpose.
Right. Yeah. I've been dating Warner now for 4 years, and he's my person, and I'm his person. And, I think the foundation of our relationship is not just based on love, but it's based on a profound respect for each other. And so we're never taking each other for granted. And I think that only comes from, finding my person so late in life and going through those breakups and really sitting down in those discovery moments and going, okay, doing a little forensic, kind of accountability on myself. What do I want? What do I need? What am I looking for? What do I want to partner with? So as we're wrapping up, I have 2 more questions for you, but let's give out that website address again, please.
Okay, it's Candice Harper, Candice, Harper, Harper, lovecoach.com.
I love your name. It's such a star name. I love it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So if there's one thing that you want people to remember from our conversation today, what would it be?
If there's one thing I want everyone to remember, it's just really be willing to align with who you authentically are, because whoever you attract in your life is going to be a mirror of that at any given time. And there's no one identity that you have to be. Like if things have been hard and you don't feel good about yourself now, you can change that. You can redefine yourself. It's up to you, not anybody else. So the one thing is really align with who you authentically are and honor that.
Beautiful. So here's my last question.
Sure.
If you were a magnet on whatever you call your higher powers refrigerator, whether that be God, universe, tree, what would that magnet say?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. It would say, keep sharing.
Love it. Well, I want to thank you so much for spending time with me today. It was just joyful, and I really appreciate your time and your wisdom.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for having me. This was really fun. It went by so quickly.
It usually does. So, if you liked what you heard, you can connect with me and all the other experts in the Superpower Net at superpowerexperts.com/the net. Thank you, and don't forget, be connected.
Are you ready to discover your superpowers? Go now to superpowerexperts.com and take the Superpower Quiz today.